put the 9th, 10th and 11th in your diary, everyone, and come and join our new teacher challenge. We cannot wait to see you there. We will put the link to the workbook in the show notes, and then you'll get an email with the workbook, all of the information that you need, as well as a link to our private secret Facebook group.
Welcome to Rainbow Skies for New Teachers, where we're all about bite-sized tips and simple strategies for bright and busy new teachers.
If you're in your first few years of your career and want to make the rollercoaster ride of teaching more fun, streamlined and stress-free, you're in the right place.
We're Ashleigh and Alisha, the dynamic duo from Rainbow Sky Creations, and we're excited to be your teacher mentors on the go. There are rainbows ahead, my friend.
And together, we're unstoppable. Let's get into today's episode.
Here at Rainbow Sky Creations, we acknowledge the Dara people and the Whadjuk Noongar people, the traditional custodians of the lands on which we record this podcast today, where we live, work and learn. We pay our respects to their past, present and emerging elders of this nation and supports the cultural, spiritual and educational practices of First Nations people.
Welcome back to Rainbow Skies for New Teachers. We are officially in 2024.
How exciting. I can't believe though it's 2024. Like, where did the last year go? In a blink of an eye, it feels.
Truly, my son, he's 8, so cute. He said to me, "Mummy, where does the time go? It just flies, doesn't it?"
And it's like, I hate to break it to your kid, it's only going to go quicker.
Yes, you know nothing yet about time flying.
Oh, and 8 is just such a great age. Like, always my favorite age group to teach 8, 9-year-olds.
Yeah, going from year 2 into year 3. It's just such a big little step, isn't it? Up from year 2 to year 3.
It is. It's like the year of independence and becoming even more of your own little person and how you fit into this world. And I find the big questions about the world and why this is the way it is. And my dad always used to call it the age of reasoning.
Wise word from Papa Hughes.
Yes, very much so.
Speaking of big steps, another big step that can be happening in 2024 are teachers who are going out and teaching their very first class.
That is right. I know a lot of new teachers, once kind of Christmas and New Year's is out of the way. I mean, this is coming out on New Year's Day, but there's probably some of you who are already getting a little bit excited thinking about what you can do to get ahead of the game. And I definitely know when I was in the classroom full time, when summer holidays rolled around and Christmas had been done, Boxing Day sales happened, I was like, "Ooh, what can I get for my classroom that's really going to help me be prepared?" So that's where we want to step in and help you be as best prepared as you can without spending hours of your holidays thinking about it.
Definitely. And doing those things that can be a little bit more fun and not necessarily all of the hard work that comes along with it, because there's going to be plenty of hard work throughout the year. Now, Alisha and I have something really great to share. We've got a few traditions here at Rainbow Sky Creations, and one of them is we have an annual teacher event or a teacher challenge during January. And today we wanted to tell you all about the teacher challenge, because not only do we want you to come and join us, we would love for you to come and join us. It's going to help you get prepared for this year and help you feel less overwhelmed.
That's what it's all about. It's about getting together with fellow teachers who are excited about the year ahead and taking the stress out of it, because that's the last thing we want to add to your plate. What we do is we call it the New Teacher Workshop, where you come join us and have a really great 3 days preparing, planning, chatting and getting a few perks along the way.
For sure. Now, they're not 3 days in real life. This is all digital and all online. So it doesn't matter where you are in the world, in Australia. If you're Aussies like us, you can come and join us. What we do is we go live over 3 days. We have a special Facebook group where we go live there, and there's some extra little fun things that we post in that Facebook group. But we also go live on Instagram at the same time, and you can get all of this information that we're going to talk a little bit about today.
And all it is, you just need to slot in 20 to 30 minutes tops during those days, where we jump online and share our words of wisdom and pretty much all the things that we've tried and tested and failed at. We're going to give you the solution to do it quickly and effectively.
Absolutely. And we've been doing this for years now. Like, I think we're coming on to our 3rd or 4th, maybe even our 5th year. And teachers say to us every year that they love the challenge so much, that they feel so on top of things, that it's been so helpful. So we're hoping that you're going to feel the same as well. So while we're here, the first thing you need to do is mark these dates down in your calendar: the 9th, the 10th, and the 11th of January. Mark those dates down and then make sure you go and get the workbook that matches the challenge. We will put the link to that and we'll also put the dates in the show notes for you so you are ready to go. But let's talk about the plan, Alisha, for what we're going to be doing.
Yes. So on the first day, it's one of our most popular little workshops and it's where we plan the first day together. So Ashleigh usually takes this class and she jumps on live and pretty much says, hey, have you got your template from your workbook that has your day planner? And we walk you through what to do as soon as your doors open in the morning until when you say goodbye to those little cherubs at the end of the day. And usually on this day, we'll give you some free resources, teacher lessons, icebreakers that you can use with your class. And 100% we get teachers replying back to us straight away saying, oh my gosh, you have totally taken the stress and overwhelm out of that first day. It was really on my mind. And we just give you clear guidelines on how to best prepare for that first day.
That's right. In the workbook, we've got a little draft day plan that you can jot all your ideas down in. And teachers actually say we give lots of different ideas because you need a variety. We understand not every idea is going to work for everyone, but teachers say with all the ideas that they actually have almost their entire first week ready to go and planned because they've got so many ideas. Now, also in the workbook, we include an activity that you can do with your students on the day. And we have got a draft plan so you can see what a day plan might look like if you taught a year 3 class, which is really handy to have. So that's day 1. Then on day 2, we come back and we talk about one of the biggest problems and struggles new teachers have, and that is with classroom management. And we start talking about developing a plan for your classroom management. And Alisha usually takes that day.
That's right. I love chatting about classroom management, about building relationships with your students. So we break it down into 4 parts. We talk about whole class positive classroom management plan. So how does it look in your whole class? We also talk about incentives to support your positive classroom management. And then we do talk about how are you going to tackle those negative choices that kids make in your classroom. And then the last thing I feel is really important as we move into 2024 is talking about ideas and ways you might want to help support your students with regulating the classroom environment. So we're going to pull that apart and discuss that on day 2.
I know teachers love that day, and Alisha and I always try and play to our strengths here at Rainbow Sky. And Alicia's strength really is about connecting with the students, about managing your class and behavior. So that is a day that you do not want to miss. And then on day 3, which will be the 11th of January, we start talking about teacher checklists. And if you've been listening along for a while, or if you go back and listen to some of the episodes that we've already released, you'll hear us saying that one of our mottos is to work smarter and not harder here at Rainbow Sky Creations. And teacher checklists is one really easy way to go about working smarter and not harder, because it takes some of that load off our brain. As teachers, we have so much being thrown at us and we've got to think and remember so much. Actually, I remember as a first year teacher, and I kind of feel like this as a mother too, but I've gotten used to the feeling now. But as a first year teacher, I remember thinking, how am I supposed to remember all of these things? I'd walk into class and between the assembly and getting to class, a child has told me something, a parent has said, can I remember something? Another teacher has thrown something at me. And then I had my own things on my mind. And I thought, how am I ever going to be able to remember all of these things? And that's actually why I started bringing my class in and getting them to sit down and do some silent reading at the start of the day. So I could actually gather myself and quickly jot down all of those things that were being thrown at me in my very first year. That is actually how that tradition started, because otherwise I just felt like I was not going to survive. So teacher checklists all the way. We'll give you a few checklists, but it will also help you with some of the other things that you might need to prepare yourself as a beginning teacher in your very first year or even your first few years. Because I think sometimes when we come back as a second or a third year teacher, feels like we're starting afresh, because the last time we did this was all the way a year ago.
Yeah, exactly right. We're just going to give you simple checklists that just cover those things that you might have not thought of. So we'll walk you through these checklists. And as we say at Rainbow Sky, we do cater to our strengths. And this is one of Ashleigh's strengths. So she's going to walk you through this. And I think you said something, Ash, where people throw all these things at you, and having that moment with your class where you hit the pause button in the mornings is so important. I think sometimes as teachers, we do feel that need to fill every single space. So a little word of wisdom from this podcast, that episode that you can take away, is that it's okay to pause in your classroom and to have a moment to think for 10 minutes. Your students will survive by having 10 minutes without you directing them through their learning. They'll actually benefit from it.
They will. And you know what? You're going to benefit too, because you're not going to be running on adrenaline and you're not going to be just trying to chase your tail. You're going to be able to give yourself that time, and it can do the world of good. So I would highly recommend that, especially if you're having one of those days where you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed or things are just a little bit too much. Putting something up on your smartboard. I used to love, years and years later, after my first year of teaching, I had a year 4 class and we absolutely loved watching the Kid President. Do you remember the Kid President?
Yes, he was very popular back when we were teaching.
Very, very popular, but his videos would still be on YouTube and they still would be so relevant now. Kids were getting something that was really valid for them to listen to and watch, and it was only, 5 minutes max. But as a teacher, you can regroup.
Yeah, absolutely. I used to put on Behind the News, which is a great ABC website that has short news articles catered for students, and it would have lots of questions and answers to information that was happening on the daily in real life. So I found if I popped one of those on, even if it was at the end of the day or in between lessons, it allowed for them to have it ruminating in the back of their minds, and guaranteed a student would come back and be like, can we go explore that further? But it allowed that opportunity for them to go do some independent investigation and learning with something that might be interesting them. Never be afraid to slow down. I think you will benefit from it wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
And your students.
Behind the News is really great for those mid to upper primary. Kid President is probably really good for that middle primary. I feel like we've got to give an idea for that lower primary too. Storyline Online is a great one. They have books, so you're exposing your students to some literature. They've got lots of great books on there and famous people read them. So they're always really, really well put together.
Yes, you took the words right out of my mouth. I was like, that's such an awesome one, that one.
Okay, so put the 9th, 10th and 11th in your diary, everyone, and come and join our new teacher challenge. We cannot wait to see you there. We will put the link to the workbook in the show notes, and then you'll get an email with the workbook, all of the information that you need, as well as a link to our private secret Facebook group.
We can't wait to see you there. Come join us.
Until then, there are rainbows ahead, my friend.
And together we're unstoppable.